TJ, I asked Joshua about his three and the way the ball moved on it. And the first thing he did is joke he's gotten Neal on a bunch of threes, so it's nice he got one back. But how much would you like to put a frame on that play, the way you guys moved the ball, how quickly, just to get the open guy and kind of selflessly?
Yeah, no, that's that'll certainly be a possession we show tomorrow in terms of, trying to create an advantage or get the defense to collapse and then continue to move the basketball. And I think with Grambling, they do such a good job of collapsing into the paint. And that's where at times that, when we struggled offensively, they were so good at collapsing. And it's really like they have a similar defensive concept, not the same as Houston, but they try to high tag and low tag. So you got to move it a second time. And that showed you exactly what it needs to look like. So that'll be something we'll continue to learn from and be better at moving forward.
Then offensively, I think all but two players scored. And I think 10 guys had scored by, not that late in the game. What can you say about how diverse you were able to get how diverse your offense was tonight?
Yeah, it was great that everybody, was involved. It's great to see Bateman come in the first half, knock down some big shots. We're going to need to continue to count on him moving forward. It's good to have guys off the bench that you can count on that way. And I felt like everybody that came in, was bringing something to the table. I love Mulder's energy out there. He flies around, play that's going to start slowing down for him at some point. And so that's important. So I just think across the board, when you have six guys in double figures and so many guys were able to score, those are great times for your team, for your program. And you want guys to feel good and build confidence in our group and what we can do together. And I think that's a great step in the right direction.
You guys had 17 second chance points tonight. I think just 3 earlier this week. How much of an emphasis was that to kind of crash the boards?
Yeah, that was the emphasis. We've been talking a lot about, that's a big part of our offense. Like certainly transition, we want to generate points in transition off our defense, but those second chance points are huge. Blake Buchanan came out right away, had a couple big plays on the glass to kind of set the tone. Tamin had some big ones early. That's got to be a big part of our offense. And you've got to be able to find ways to continue to produce offensively when either your shot's not falling or maybe something isn't going exactly right. And tonight, we imposed our will on the glass far more than what we had done up to this point, but it needs to not be a one-game thing that we applaud. It needs to be the consistency of that standard and something we continue to do because that's a really tough dynamic, especially with guys like Killian and Tamin who chase them down at the guard position and get you those extra possessions.
Similar question. I think just 9 free throw attempts earlier this week. You had 22 in the second half tonight. How much of an emphasis was that to get to the line and get in the paint?
Yeah, I mean, they're a very physical defensive team and a team that really works to keep you out of the paint. It's kind of like we talked about the possession earlier. It's usually not going to be the first guy that gets into the paint in the half court. If you can get in transition, then the court's open. But if not, you're in the half court, you're going to have to move it and get the second guy or the guy who, makes the hockey assist, that guy get in the paint. And so when you get in the paint, you have a chance to get fouled. When you get to the offensive boards, you have a chance to get fouled. So by virtue, we did a better job getting to the free throw line.
Played some distinctly different sort of combinations tonight. Tamin with the freshman in the backcourt, I think. Milan and Nate both played the 4. Were you mixing and matching or looking for something specific with each of those combos?
I think there's a lot of different things going on. Like in the first half, certainly Bateman came in and hit some shots, and so I wanted to look at it that way. I felt like at times kind of the faster lineup with 3 guards was a little better in terms of turning them over, getting out in transition, and so that made some lineups, like you're saying, are different than what we've played up to this point. But I think it's a good thing. Like I think it shows – especially early in the year when you can have some confidence in different groups and different lineups. That's a great thing. And, as much as they're changing defenses and things along those lines, there's a lot going on. They're pressing, they're zone, they're man, they're switching, they're gapping, they're doing a lot of different things. And so to be able to play different combinations and those guys step up for us, really encouraging.
If you can get those to be productive throughout the year, how important is it to be able to have those different tools in your toolbox to go with that small guard lineup or the 4 guard lineup?
Yeah, it is. You look at even like 2 years ago, we're in the NCAA tournament. We're playing Washington State, and we went really small and just spaced it and drove it. And I think that's a weapon you need to have, a tool you need to have in your tool chest, and being able to speed the game up and get out more in transition. And that's been something for us that as we've gotten into the games that we've leaned into even more, and tonight even more than other nights. So you just have to have that flexibility to be able to do what's working or what's best on that night. And, we've continued to put 10 guys in the first half to give them an opportunity to do that. And it was great to see everybody step up with the different lineups and combinations tonight.
Coach, Tamin had 3 pretty flashy plays out there. How cool is it for you as his coach to see him add that to his arsenal?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily the biggest fan of flashy plays. I would say, what I love about Tamin is the confidence he's playing with right now, the command of our team. 6 assists, no turnovers, 5 steals. And, it's like what he did the other night and then to come right back and then do it again. I just think he makes tremendous winning, high-energy plays that we've coined Tamin plays. And so, I'm sure that people on social media love when he fakes a pass and looks somebody off and lays it in. I just appreciate how hard he plays, how competitive he is, and really fortunate that he's our leader because he's a tremendous winner.
And then Jamarian, you talk so highly of him leading up to the season, and maybe the shots didn't fall the first 3 games. How do you keep confidence in a young guy when those shots aren't falling?
Well, for me with Jamarian, he's somebody that has tremendous habits, and I've never experienced somebody that has tremendous habits that keeps working the way he does, that it doesn't come around for him. And so even after the performances up to this point, he's the first guy you see early morning in the gym the next day getting an extra work. And it's not just going around the three-point line shooting, it's attacking the paint, guys physically guarding him and doing those things. So it's great to see him come in and have that level of confidence and to make those shots. And again, it gives us another weapon that we know we can count on him. And a guy with his habits and his character, his intelligence, his work ethic, he's got a lot going for him. We want to continue to see him earn more opportunities.
What did you think of your team's effort tonight and tracking down loose balls or making those hustle plays, particularly from the newer guys through these first couple of games?
No, I thought we did a great job. Look, I think Killian and Tamin have this unique ability to, just pursue those basketballs for sure, but I thought more guys made them tonight. I think, our disruption defensively, to create 14 live ball steals again is really good. And multiple guys have to make those plays and be in those rotations. So I think it's a huge positive. And I think, again, there's a lot of guys bringing value, and that's what really good teams do is guys throughout the lineup, continue to bring value. We talk about having an instant impact on the production when you go in the game, and that's the case.
Tamin obviously looked good tonight, but how did his knee respond after Monday over the last couple of days?
Yeah, it was great. And he's done such a good job with the strengthening. He's worked with Vic. He looked great in practice. He looked explosive. I thought his speed again tonight. The game was a little choppy at times because of the fouls and some of those things, but I thought he responded well in practice, responded well in the game, and really encouraging how he's continuing to develop coming off the injury. It looks like he's in great shape, great form, and exciting to see.
Holistically, how do you think these first 2 games have prepared you for South Dakota and the Mississippi State game?
I think we just take each opportunity as it presents itself. We talk a lot about the standard in our program and playing to the standard. We recognize that, there's a team on the other side each night, but we want to continue to elevate our standard and how we play and go about it. So I think tonight was a very encouraging effort, a lot of respects. Loved the offensive rebounding, loved the defensive disruptions, loved getting to the foul line, loved seeing a lot of guys score the ball. So regardless of who we play and how we go about it, that's going to be important that we keep building. So now it's back to the practice court, do everything we can to keep elevating ourselves as we go into that game on Monday.